Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about this bike, the Honda CRF300l. I've been fortunate enough to borrow this bike the whole weekend thanks to Honda here in Sweden, and so I'm gonna talk about my first impressions of the bike. I'm gonna start off with the bad things, which are not that many, and then I'm going to go into the good stuff. And as always, this is going to be a personal and honest opinion about my first impressions of the bike, so stay tuned. So let me go through a little bit the things I don't like so much. There are not too many, so in a while later on in this video I will talk about the good things. I hope you will be able to hear me. It's a little bit windy here today, but let's get into it. So let me start talk about the skid plate. This bike doesn't even have a skid plate, but the original OEM skid plate is pretty much useless. It's a very small piece of plastic which doesn't really cover the important stuff. It doesn't cover the frame, so that's something that you have to change to aftermarket skid plate to protect the bike better. So one thing that I discovered is that the first and I think the second gear is a little bit shorter than my Honda CRF300l. I have one 2014 model, and I think the gears are a little bit shorter, so it takes a while to get used to that. It's a little bit more twitchy than my Honda 250, but it's not a big issue. I mean, you get used to it, and it's a matter of personal opinion of how you want it to be. Fifth gear, when you reach 65 kilometers per hour, you want to change to sixth gear, and sixth gear around 110 up to 120. Yeah, I mean, you can't cruise around 120 kilometers per hour for longer distances. It's not going to be very comfortable, and I'm going to talk about all that stuff later on, also about the wind protection and so on. But this is only my first impressions about the gearing of this bike, and as I said, it's a matter of personal opinion, personal choice, and you get used to a little bit. It's a little bit more twitchy than my bike in first and second gear, I think. But yeah, that's my first impressions. So as I said, this bike isn't really made for longer distances in higher speeds, for sure. Around 110 kilometers per hour, it's starting to vibrate. It doesn't have any wind protection, so you have to be really tucked in, and it doesn't really help. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to use it for cruising longer distances on a highway, so for me it's not a big issue. But yeah, over 110 kilometers per hour, it's not very comfortable. And another thing that I forgot to mention about that is that today it was very windy. I had to take the highway to get to this place because it's a really nice off-road area. But today, as I said, very windy, and because of the bike is really lightweight, it's also very sensitive to the winds, especially when you have a side wind as I had today. So you have to you know, be prepared for that. It's not something that I'm used to, because I used to have heavier bikes before, like the KTM 890 Adventure R or the Yamaha Tenere 700, and I didn't really experience that. But with this bike you experience that kind of wind sensitiveness that you maybe don't have with the with heavier bikes. So let's talk about the seat. The seat is, I mean, first time you sit on it, it feels really comfortable, and it feels plush. It's you know, you can move forward and backward, and it's not tight in any way. But after a while, when you ride longer distances and when you sit for longer periods, it's getting to be a little bit more uncomfortable. Actually, it's pretty hard in the long run, and also this strap, or what you call it, I would remove that because it's a bit in the way for me. So yeah, just get rid of that. And also the edges of the seat is it's a little bit too edgy, but maybe for you know, after a while it gets more plush and starting to be more comfortable. But yeah, that's something, not a big issue, but yeah, small one. So another thing is obviously the fuel tank. The fuel range doesn't take you that long, but for me, I'm not necessarily put this on the negative side, because I want as low weight as possible. So with a bigger tank you get a little bit more weight, and it's really fuel efficient. So yeah, I mean, for me it's not a big issue. But on my Honda CRF300l I have a Cerbis tank. I don't know how to pronounce the tank, but this brand. But anyways, which helps a lot if you go in further, like the TET or something like that. You don't want to know where exactly are the next fuel station, or you just get a fuel bladder with you, so you don't have to worry about this issue. But yeah, for me, not a big thing, but yeah, could be better. So another thing that's it's not even a big issue for me either. It's the front brake. I would like a little bit more bite to it, but yeah, I mean, what could you expect with a dual sport bike like this? I think maybe in this segment of these kind of bikes, that's what you get. So I think they're okay. On my Honda CRF300l, I don't have the ABS, so I don't have to think about turning it off. That's something I just recently discovered, that oh yeah, I have this button here that I can just turn it off. But every time I put the engine on again, or the ignition, you have to turn it off again. So that's a bit annoying, but yeah, I mean, not a big issue. So I think that's it. I think I don't think there are any more bad things, and as I said, I don't even think these things that I have been going through now are necessarily bad things. So yeah, let's just go into the good stuff. So one great thing about this bike is that you get a really nice bike, a lot of quality. I think, in my opinion, you get this reliability that I didn't have on my KTM 890 Adventure. The video you might have seen, all the issues and the things that I had with that bike. I don't own this bike, so I don't know in the long run the reliability, but I can only imagine that it can't be any worse than my KTM 890 that I used to have anyways. The Honda CRF300l that I have, I mean, it's I've dropped it a few times already, and yeah, no major issues there. And for what you get for the money, I think it's a great little bike, and there are tons of aftermarket parts that you can buy to it. And yeah, I mean, it's a cheap bike, and it's cheap to own. I mean, the insurance here in Sweden are nothing, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't. The fuel, as I said, fuel economy is great also. So Yes, so this might come as a surprise for you, but I actually like the sound of this bike. I like the character. It has a much better sound to it than my Honda's 250. Especially in low gears, it's a bit grunty. For what I use this bike for, I don't want it to be any more noisy than this, and of course that's a personal opinion also. I mean, I've seen a lot of people put aftermarket pipes on these bikes, but I don't want to. I want to go into the woods. I don't want to disturb my environment. So I think it's enough, and it's enough grunty to make me happy. So another thing is that the clutch, the brake, the levers, all these things are so easy to use. It's so manageable. I don't have to adjust anything. I have these adventure boots on me. I don't. I mean, on my previous bikes, I have to adjust the shifter to be able to use my boots on my Tenere 700, for example. But I don't have to adjust anything on this bike, and it's so easy to use, and the clutch is so easy as well. So yeah, in that. All those things together makes it so easy to ride, I think. So for example, the very light lever doesn't make you feel the fatigue in your fingers, but doesn't also sacrifice the feel. So I think they really made a nice compromise with this bike. And I don't need more torque or power than this. I have to be honest. I mean, as a beginner in off-road riding and the more difficult stuff, the single tracks, this bike I think is enough, and you will and it will let you learn. It's not intimidating in any way, and I think it's very forgiving. I mean, the raw power of other bikes can quickly cause a rider to be in trouble, but I never felt that way with this bike. And of course it's actually more powerful than my 250, even though I mean there are not many horsepower comparing the two, but you can feel that it's more powerful than the 250. So another thing that might come as a surprise for you is the suspension. I actually put this on the positive side of this bike. I know that a lot of people complain about the suspension, but if you are a relatively beginner, as I am, off-roading, I think this suspension is what I need. I mean, I weigh 68 kilo, not so much, but yeah, I mean it's plush, it's forgiving, and yeah, of course, if you do big jumps and stuff like that. It's gonna bottom out, but so far it didn't happen to me. So yeah, I think the suspension is it's enough for me. Maybe when I get more experienced and so on, I might want another kind of suspension or to upgrade it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's good, and it's. All the potholes and all the things that you come across, it's so forgiving, and yeah, I never had any issues off-road either with the suspension. So this bike on paper, it seems to be very tall. I mean, especially if you are a shorter rider, you might be a little bit intimidated when you see the figures. But one thing you should be aware of is that once you sit on it, the suspension, because it's so soft, its suspension will lower the bike pretty much actually. So I can easily flat foot with this bike, and I'm 179 centimeters tall, So yeah, I mean that's for me a very positive thing. And the seat's low spot, it's just where the tank is, so it gets a little bit thinner, or it's not that wide. So if you just move in front a little bit, it's even more easy to reach the ground, which is if you are a beginner rider off-roading, that's of course a big advantage, and especially if you come from heavier bikes like I said, the KTM 890 or the Tenere 700. Yeah, I mean, also one thing that's a big, huge advantage with this bike is because of it's so lightweight. It's so easy to get it up again from the ground if you dropped it. So yeah, I mean, I had some issues with my previous bikes, especially the Tenere 700. When you drop it, it's because the weight is distributed on top of the bike rather down low like the KTM. It's very difficult when you dropped it a few times to pick it up again. That problem the KTM 890 didn't have that problem because it has a lower center of gravity, but still, I mean, they are heavy. So actually these tires that comes with the bike are pretty good. I mean, yeah, I mean on pavement they are good. They don't make your head shake in higher speeds, so that's a good thing. Off-road, you might want, if you're gonna do a lot of off-road, you might want to change to a little bit more knobby tire than this, but yeah, I mean, they are okay. But they are not tubeless tires, so that's something you should be aware of. That's something I like to have, tubeless tires, but yeah. On my Honda CRF300l I have this ultra heavy duty 4mm thick rubber, so that helps a little bit if you to not get a flat tire, but yeah, tubeless are my personal choice. But so this is a quick revving engine with a liner power delivery and a modest peak power number, so this makes the CRF300l a manageable bike, but I mean still very capable off-road. So guys, thank you for watching a very short video about my opinions about the bike. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, or if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Bye.